All right, let's get right into it. You know, when you think about cybercrime, you probably picture some shadowy hacker trying to break in from the outside, right? But what if the single biggest threat isn't trying to break down the door? What if they're already inside, holding the keys to the whole building? Today, we are digging into a type of crime that starts with a trusted employee. And the stakes here are, well, they're massive. A 2023 report from IBM found that the average annual cost of an insider threat to a company is a staggering $15.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't some minor issue. It's a huge financial and operational risk. So, who exactly is this criminal we're looking for? Well, it's not the hacker in a hoodie. It's an insider. This is someone who has legitimate access, an employee, a contractor, but they misuse that access. And this is the crucial part. It can be totally intentional, maybe for revenge or money, or it can be completely unintentional, just born out of a simple mistake. Now, this really gets to the heart of why this is such a tough problem to solve. This quote from the International Journal of Humanities and Information Technology just nails it. Insider threats don't usually happen with a big bang. They build up over time. They evolve through these tiny, subtle shifts in behavior, little things that, by themselves, wouldn't set off any alarms at all. Think about it this way. Traditional security. That's like a detective who's only looking for signs of a forced entry, a broken window, a picked lock. It's designed to find known threats it's been told to look for. But behavioral analytics? That's totally different. It's more like a profiler who's been observing someone for months and suddenly notices their daily routine seems just a little bit off. It's not looking for a specific crime. It's looking for abnormal patterns. So how in the world do you build an army of these digital profilers? Well, a really groundbreaking new study gives us the blueprint. We're going to follow along with their high-tech investigation into how AI can actually spot these threats before they turn into a full-blown crisis. Every good investigation needs a crime scene, right? For this study, the crime scene is the CERT Insider Threat Dataset. And listen, this isn't just any old data. It is an incredibly detailed, simulated corporate world with over 1,000 employees. It tracks 18 months of their activity. We're talking every single login, every USB drive plugged in, HR records, even the changing tone of their emails. It's the perfect training ground for our AI detectives to go looking for clues. And here they are, our three lead detectives, each with a very different style. First up, you've got Random Forest. Think of this one as the seasoned, by-the-book analyst. It classifies behavior based on a massive set of established rules. Then you've got the autoencoder. This is our artist, who has this perfect mental picture of what normal looks like and can instantly spot anything that just doesn't fit. And finally, we have the LSTM model. This is our modern profiler, the specialist who understands context and history, remembering past behavior to see where things might be going next. All right, with our detectives on the case, the investigation is on. They're sifting through mountains of data, searching for the digital tells, those tiny behavioral clues that, when you piece them all together, start to reveal a potential threat. And these are the kinds of clues they found. What's so fascinating is that these aren't just technical violations. A lot of them are deeply human. You see stuff like people logging in late at night, sudden spikes in copying files to a USB drive, or asking for unusual system permissions. But you also see these psychosocial indicators, like a person's email tone becoming consistently more negative over time, or someone suddenly accessing sensitive company files they have never, ever touched before. Let's just zoom in on one of these clues for a second, just to see how powerful it can be. The study found that employees who accessed the network during non-business hours were 2.8 times more likely to be an anomaly. That is a huge statistical flag. Now, on its own, it might not mean anything. Maybe they're just working late. But as part of a larger pattern, it's a critical piece of the puzzle. This chart really helps visualize the weight of the evidence. You can see right away that after-hours access was a major predictor. But look at file transfer volume and the shift in email sentiment. They are also incredibly important. It's the combination of these technical clues and these behavioral clues that gives the AI its incredible predictive power. Okay, so we've got the crime scene, we've got the suspects, we've got the clues. We have three elite AI detectives working the case. The big question is, which one actually cracked it? Which model was the best at piecing it all together and pointing to the real threat? And the verdict is in. As you can see right here, it wasn't even close. It was a clear win for the LSTM model, our modern profiler. It hit a stunning 93.2% accuracy, which just blew the other two detectives out of the water. But the question is why? What made it so much better at this?
So, why was the LSTM so good? This quote from the study reveals its secret weapon. It's all about something called sequential dependencies. You see, the other models, they saw clues as just isolated events, but the LSTM model, it understood the story. It could see the slow negative shift in email tone over several weeks, followed by the late night logins, which culminated in a huge file transfer. It's not just about what you do, it's about the sequence, the story of how you do it. So, case closed, right? We have a technology that can predict malicious behavior with over 90% accuracy. Awesome. But this victory, it opens up a whole new can of worms. We're talking a minefield of practical and ethical questions.
Because the moment you start talking about putting this tech into the real world, you run into some really big questions. I mean, this implies constant employee monitoring. What does that do to a workplace, to trust? And who gets to decide what normal behavior even is? You have to wonder if a system like this could end up flagging people who just, I don't know, think or work a little differently from the baseline. So you end up at this fork in the road with two totally different ways this could play out. On one hand, you could see this as a protective shield. Maybe you stop a disaster before it happens, or maybe you even identify an employee who's really struggling and needs support, not punishment. But the flip side is that it could become a powerful surveillance tool, creating a culture where everyone feels like a suspect all the time. And that, right there, might be the biggest idea to come out of all of this. Maybe the ultimate goal shouldn't be just to find the bad command. The real potential here could be in shifting our entire mindset to understand the stressed employee. It completely reframes this from a tool for catching people to a tool for actually helping them. Which leaves us with this final, really challenging question. The technology works, we know that. The AI detectives can solve the case before the crime is even committed. But knowing we can do it, should we? The answer to that isn't about code or algorithms. It's about the kind of workplaces and maybe even the kind of society we really want to build.